Well, that was interesting. It had like a double click now. Yeah, that was weird. Usually I just hit it once. It was like, I said go live, and it said, "You sure you want to go live?" And I like threw me all off. I was like, "Oh Lord, why did I record?"
So we're
What is
live.
happening? We are now live. What is happening, Californian? How was everything? You came back alive. Yeah, you didn't get kidnapped or anything. I'm very excited about that.
Good. I did not do any drugs, even though there was a lot of drugs around me from all the homeless people.
You were offered drugs in California. Say it ain't so.
I will say what's funny. I didn't smell marijuana once there, despite thinking they would be.
Crazy.
I'm sure you smelled a lot of pee and homeless poo, but we'll.
Yeah, absolutely. That's par for the course.
Well, that's a great start to the show.
What have you been up to there, Kachung?
Oh yeah, climbing trees. Got saturated today. It was raining.
Oh, yeah? So the tree cutting doesn't stop just because of rain, huh?
No, they sometimes schedule us for groundwork. You can still trim trees from the ground, but most of the time you got to get up in them.
Do you ever think it's odd that sometimes we come on late, like we are now? We're very late, where we're sitting here waiting for the Canadian. We talk a little bit beforehand, and yet every time we go live, I'm looking at the Canadian turning off his camera and disappearing for like 30 minutes or 30 seconds to a minute. It's really weird. And it's the same time every week. Like we don't do new stuff. And
it's his internet. I'm sure it's his internet.
All right. So Kachunga, who are we talking about today?
Wullf Yularen.
Yularen.
Who is that? Yularen. Some may say.
Well, let's see. You know what? I'll just kick it off with this first little clip. Oh, look, he's finally back again.
I heard everything.
I'll kick it off this first clip. Basically, it's just the famous Death Star scene where they're around the table. And I just want to know, I don't know how much, I should have looked it up, how much this man was paid. But if you're looking for the guy we're discussing today, he'll be the white-haired gentleman in the white suit who is literally showing no emotion, seeming not much acting, and he's just basically sitting there looking somewhat dignified. This man was paid for this role, and I'm not disparaging him. I'm just saying that's a pretty good gig if you can get this role. So here we go.
Until this battle station is fully operational, we are vulnerable.
I have just received word that the Emperor has dissolved the Council permanently. The last remnants of the old Republic have been swept away.
It's impossible. How will the Emperor maintain control without the bureaucracy?
Fear of this battle station.
And what of the rebellion?
That's pretty much it. He's in the background, over the shoulder, man dressed in white. That's it right there. That's
very interesting.
Him. Yeah, funny.
There's a lot. I mean, even though he has more screen time than a few other characters. He has a pretty involved backstory that has been retconned.
One of these days, we're gonna have a drinking game. The drinking game is gonna be every time he gets up to either open that door, you got to drink. If he turns his camera off, you got to drink. And I want to know by the time we end this, will we be passed out? Is my guess.
The question is, how long is the episode going to be? An hour? Sorry. Anyways, the cat does not like to.
We all know about your cat. It's a funny thing. It's not a negative. The cat
will have an over-the-shoulder appearance one day.
Okay, so I wrote this down pretty quick when I looked into it. He was a colonel in the Imperial Security Bureau. Okay, by the time of this, he obviously had to work his way up to it, but in that room, he was a colonel in the Imperial Security Bureau. He was assigned to the Death Star to ensure that the station's personnel remain absolutely loyal to the Emperor. He had a bunch of undercover people disguised as soldiers or even workers, and watching at all times for suspicious activity. So he was that guy. And it kind of, the reason why I found that interesting, Gomez, what's happening,
Well,
sir?
hello.
And the reason I found that interesting is it shows you, right? Like pretty quick into controlling power. We're already having your neighbors watching you. The guy
big
sweeping the ground
Gestapo.
next to you. Yeah. Is he
Right.
watching you? Are you saying anything you're not supposed to be saying? The guy handing your hot dog at lunch or whatever. He's listening to see if you're bitching about your boss. You know what I mean? It's happening that fast where you are. And then another thing that I noticed about him, which we'll probably get into a little bit more. The Emperor, he surrounded himself with people who are loyal to him from a while back. Like he made sure, which is very clever, obviously.
Set
I
them
mean,
up in the positions they need.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't an accident, but the people like, that he was talking to when he was just the senator from this backwards planet, and those kind of guys, he positioned himself. They were with him, and so they always talked about like he made sure that loyalty was to the Emperor. He didn't say anything about the Empire or the Republic. It was always loyalty to him, not them.
But in a way, it was loyalty to the Imperials in a way that they were part of the Republic to begin with, right?
Yeah, they started off.
And then their kind of moral compass was pretty neutral, so they just stayed in it, maybe just to keep their job, right?
Keep that paycheck coming in.
And so,
Yeah.
I guess the fact this guy was retconned to be, pretty involved in that Imperial days.
What was something I found interesting about the character, like about on the background, was that so obviously in the movies he was just unnamed character, and eventually they came with his name being Colonel Yularen for the ISB and some kind of tabletop game. But eventually, when they were Dave Filoni was sorting out the Clone Wars, and they wanted to give someone to the Jedi, like a familiar character. He hadn't actually thought that he was a Grand Admiral based on the white suit he had, because he's the only one with a white suit in that whole thing. So that's why he made him an admiral in the show, to show the progression, until later on after the first season they realized, oh, he was actually an ISB agent. So they had to kind of like change some things around as it went.
Because there weren't many with white suits.
Yeah, and like he was the only one there like that. So it's like he obviously stood out differently.
Yeah. And I guess they kind of explain it, and it goes back to like his personal relationship with the Emperor and wanting to make sure that the absolute control and absolute loyalty. So he kind of volunteered for that role of spying on your neighbors kind of thing. They're always watching you. So yeah, it was interesting that they did kind of retcon him in a certain. I mean, Star Wars is famous. If they're not known for anything, it's for. I'll take a little bit of that, and we'll figure it out as we go, kind of thing.
It's a pity they didn't put him in Rogue One. It would have been good to see him there.
Which is funny, he wasn't there. I wonder if he'll show up in the or not. Like we'll have some mention of him or some way in Andor, because obviously the Rebels, and then you'd have like undercover Imperial spies.
Yeah. So I didn't get. I made the video, but I don't know what happened to it. I guess I deleted it on accident of him in the actual
Clone Wars. Oh no, sorry, and Rebels.
Clone Wars. Yeah, but I because he was in Clone Wars. But I did get the Rebel one, and this is the one where they're figuring out who the Rebel spy is, and
Fulcrum,
yeah, and I cut out the other man in this conversation because he would steal this air out of the oxygen out of the room. So I had to do my best to cut him out. So it might be a little bit choppy and weird, but because the other one is just too engaging to leave into the video.
There's another leading man in white. And
Cylinder confirms our suspicions. He used it to override security, release the prisoner, and contact the rebels. Things have fallen into place a little too perfectly for my liking. I would never have suspected one of my best students was capable of this betrayal.
And that's it. And the very next line was pretty smooth, which is, and that is why you all have failed. It's basically what is the retort to that is, I never would have suspected such a thing. And his retort very coldly is, and that is why you all have failed and been fooled by this man. So yeah, he was in charge of the spies. So obviously, whenever one of his high-level spies has been working for the wrong side of the team, that is a lot of egg on the face.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really find too much information. I mean, I probably did, and I just didn't even think about it at the time of why he went on the Death Star. But I kind of wonder if they haven't done it yet. I kind of wonder if they're going to make that maybe not a punishment, but like getting closer to the inner circle of the Emperor's people. Like you kind of blew this, and
Yeah.
the man in blue had to save your ass a little bit because you kind
This is your redemption. Yeah.
yeah, and this is your opportunity for us to keep an eye on you. But not only that, but make it happen, Captain.
Mhm.
And of
Well, I
course,
was thinking of that. I was wondering if more so with Tarkin, but do you think either one of them knew that Vader was Anakin? Because he worked with Anakin quite a lot.
Because Tarkin definitely knew, but Yularen is interesting because he worked with him so often, and like constantly. I would think the reason why he wouldn't have known is based on like how Anakin was so reckless but like valiant and charismatic, and then compared to Vader, it's like almost opposite.
is that 100% canon?
Yes,
Tarkin
Tarkin,
definitely knew?
yeah. From the Tarkin novel,
I was about to say it must be the Tarkin novel because I haven't read the Tarkin novel yet.
Yeah, in the
I
Tarkin
know there's
novel, he figured he basically he connects some dots there together, and he says like one or two things to Vader that kind of like sends him a little like he's standing there and he just turns around and just stares at Tarkin for a second, then turns back. Tarkin's like, okay, that's my answer right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, just because of, I mean, even as he's killing Jedis, even some close Jedis, they didn't know unless he told them right before he finished them off, which he liked to do.
Mhm.
They didn't even pick it up. And
Yeah.
oh, here we go, drink. Anybody watching right now? That is your sign to drink. So I don't think he did. But it would be surprising that if he didn't, to be honest with you, being that he's the head of
That's what I was
the
thinking.
spy agency.
Security,
Like
spying.
if you didn't know, that's kind of bad. And it might have been something that he did know, but he's one of those great spy masters that he didn't tell anybody that he knew because he might need that for later. Put that one in the old back pocket.
Right.
And so yeah, now that you say that, I mean, if you didn't know, that's not a good sign. You're not a very good spy master if you didn't figure that one out. If the old Grand Moff figured it out.
I mean, probably be the punishment then for him later. Maybe he did know or find out, and he's probably like, maybe I shouldn't bring this up. Maybe I should hold on.
That's what I'm saying.
But a lot
Like,
of
you
his
always-
closest were they didn't figure it out.
He didn't particularly like it. Sorry?
Maybe we'll find out in Ahsoka whether she knew.
True. Because I was gonna say as well, like Yularen particularly didn't like Anakin, so I don't think he'd gain anything from saying, like, admitting he knows to Vader.
And I will say, when I was reading an article that was written, drink. That's 3 drinks. We are gonna get loaded tonight. And you know what? It's obvious. It's one of those things that are obvious and clearly, but like until I read it and I was thinking about it, I didn't really put it together. But it's so obviously stupid. You guys are probably gonna look at me like, of course. What is that?
Microwave.
Is your craft dinner ready to go?
Absolutely.
And here's the drink again. That's for you. We're getting so loaded tonight, boys. Don't call in to work tomorrow. Is that all these naval guys, right? And this is the article I was reading, and I don't remember. It wasn't like the normal articles. It was just one of those things. Somebody had an idea. All these guys that you read about, and all these guys in the background that have these like crappy roles and stuff, they're all lifelong naval commanders. They have been to the academy. They have fought in battles. They have done all these things. And then suddenly these monks, these idiotic monks who are supposed to be peacekeepers, show up, and they're assigned to be in charge of you on your ship. And that annoyance and that probably anger and bitterness from these monks showing up telling you what to do, and they don't follow procedure. They don't really necessarily follow tactical skills that you've been taught. Especially if you have Anakin as your freaking boss, he'll fly the ship directly into a moon or something. And I didn't think about that, and that's probably another reason why it was so overwhelmingly once the Jedi were kind of put in their place, overwhelmingly accepted and throughout all the ranks is because of the fact that this happened everywhere. I mean, the same thing with ground troops too. If you're on the ground, general leading your people into battle, and then suddenly a guy in robe shows up and says, "I got it from here," and then you're supposed to take a back seat to that, or even clones show up and you're like, "What in the world? Like, where do these guys come from?" I didn't even think about that, but that was this guy's problem. When I was reading about this guy, was that he was not a fan of Anakin showing up doing the fly by his pants when he is a very serious,
And at the same time, comparing it, like Yularen was the youngest admiral in the Republic, and compare it to Anakin being one of the youngest Jedi and generals, and you have very by the books, and then you give him the most reckless guy. So
and if I could just point out, I would throw it up again, but if I could just point out, you ever see the pictures when they show like a young Barack or a young Bush, and then after they're president, what they look like? They look like they've aged 20 years and 8 years. Can we talk about he's the youngest admiral, but did you see what he looked like around that table? That is a hard job following Anakin around. He got his life put on the line several
That's only
times.
like 30.
Son of a gun.
That was like 30 years.
Yeah, he looked like he was about 95 years old sitting around that table. That son of a gun had a hard life.
It's as if his ship was just stationed right over Tatooine's sun, just floating in the sun.
Yeah, he didn't age well. He didn't age well.
Hey, at least he didn't age like Dengar did.
That's true.
Dengar past aging, he went to
okay. So totally off topic, which I know we never do on this show, but I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy. By the way, Guardians of the Galaxy's I forget how good it is till you watch it when you haven't watched it in like a year or two. But there was that scene where she's talking about every time she got beat by her sister, she had to replace a part of her, Thanos would cut off an eye or something and replace it. And for some reason, that jackass popped into my head, and I was like, "That's exactly what he was trying to do. Every time something failed, he just replaced it with another robot spot."
Dengar slipped into your
so Dengar got in there, and I'm like, "Hey, she just will turn into a Dengar if she doesn't stop replacing her body parts." And then you have this fella here, Chris Lopez, of all things. What is going on, Mr. Lopez? All right. So what did you discover from this guy when you were looking into him?
Well, it was interesting that he was admiral, and then he demoted himself, basically, so that he could enter the spy world.
Ships are born. Spies are
colonel. I guess he started off as colonel again, and then.
Well, I mean, it's not well known, but in the Empire, it's called the Filoni, orders regiment, that you can demote yourself or promote yourself with a drop of a hat, depending on what's needed at the time.
But since he was a colonel, does that mean he's not in the Navy anymore?
Yeah, no, he quit his Navy. He has pension. He gave up his pension so that he can join the. He's a Gestapo.
It does seem weird. I kind of
Navy rank, right? Or am I wrong?
I don't know.
This is Star Wars. They kind of go willy nilly with their rankings and who's got what. It's a little free formed.
But I mean, yeah, it was just that, and yeah, just it made me think about the Anakin thing.
Mm-hmm.
Really. But he was in a lot of Clone Wars episodes.
Yeah, he was always the guy screaming, or not screaming, but disapproving looks. Yeah, during a lot of those scenes.
A bit like John Cleese.
Mm-hmm. As we'll see when we look at the list on the slideshow, you'll see how many really is in. And that's not even counting. Like, technically, he is in every episode as the voiceover for the intro, as the recap.
Really? Was he?
That's him.
Because
when
it is him. I didn't think about that, but it is.
When I first started watching the animated Clone Wars, I almost couldn't get past that every time. It annoyed the crap
The
out
old
of me.
World War like radio.
Yeah.
Well, the World War II radio, or what was the name of that movie with the bugs? They had the same kind of thing too.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, Sergeant Troopers had the same kind of. This
But
shuts in. Does the
in the end,
world
it was right.
continue? Like he had that same thing. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
otherwise, pretty straightforward character. He's pretty interesting. He has some appearances like in books and whatnot, but not much. Mostly in the Thrawn novel, which we'll also touch on in terms of the comics.
Well, all right. Well, let's just jump right into the slideshow here. I'm glad I had time to do this slideshow. It's a lot of work, but I don't mind doing it.
Where's your spotlight?
Oh yeah, I need to do that. Don't I?
It's been 3 weeks. That's fair enough.
Roll.
Even when it was going every day, I'd forget it.
Hello there.
Just a simple plug, if you don't mind me. That's also the exact same things. If you follow me on twitch.tv/Mr. Grill, I have the exact same thing. That shows you how amazingly not lazy I am, that I just continue to recycle everything that I do. Hey, gents, can't stay long, but I wanted to show some love. I'll catch the replay. Thank you very much, this little podcast. All right, what are you up to?
Cookie is a huge Star Wars fan.
Yes. Sent me a message, ask if I had read a certain book, and the funny part was I actually had literally that book with me because that's the book I have at the office.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when I get a chance, that's my at the office reading material. Catalyst is the book it was.
Nice.
Yeah, the Rogue One.
Yeah,
He listens to the audiobooks, which I think is a great idea. I get some spare time when I'm driving for work, so that's a possibility.
yeah.
Because I don't know how I find the time to read a novel, you know.
And I'll just say this: I've heard from a lot of people, and who cares? Because he's one of the richest men in the world. That if you use that audio, the Amazon version, and then you do not renew the Amazon version, they will start sending you, "Where are you going? Enjoy another free month," and then you just keep recycling, reusing, and you'll just get a lot of free stuff that way. Just putting that out there. By the way, Disney, I have never claimed to own any of these clips. I do not own these clips. These are the sure ownership of our overlords and masters, the Walt Disney Corporation. Thank you. Gotta say, I had to start saying that on my Twitch channel too. I had to start saying that on my Twitch channel too. I had to remind people you gotta say you don't own it. That's how you don't get docked. All right.
Have you had any trouble since the last huge one?
Nope, not since I started telling them that I didn't own any of it. I started making it clear.
Since we have that up, I did read somewhere that his original spelling was a double F. And
and then they messed it up, and they just kept using the messed up version. They're like, you know what?
I like the double F. The double F is cool. I like the double F.
I mean, obviously, you know, Filoni wanted to use this character just solely on his name, I would assume, like the wolf.
Right.
But
wasn't there a trooper? Weren't there wolf troopers?
Yeah. The Commander Wolf's one. But anyways, comic appearances. So he only has one appearance in Legends, which is actually the first issue of that Clone Wars comic that ties in with the 2008 show. Obviously, it's ridiculously expensive comic now. And then after that, he doesn't show back up until canon comics, which is Star Wars Thrawn. He first shows up in issue 3, and he shows up subsequently from there all the way through issue 6.
This is the only one I have.
Yeah. Which one's that? Number 5?
Number 5.
Yeah. And then after that, he shows up in the Age of Republic Anakin Skywalker one-shot. And that's the extent of his comic appearances, which is pretty funny because I thought he would have shown up in more tie-in stuff.
Yeah,
Even
at least in the background, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Admiral Piet shows in more stuff than this.
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder the people who are writing. Well, people writing comics don't know what the hell they're doing anyway. But if the people writing comics, do they understand that he's the head of like the intelligence agency? Because I feel like he should be way more involved in some of these stories than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's just not.
Sorry?
Admiral Prawn.
Yeah. So yeah, this is his first only Legends appearance and the most expensive comic in Star Wars now. And it's a hologram there.
I think that
I saw
Chris said that he was going to get me this book, I believe, for Christmas or something.
Saw this comic in LA, at Golden Apple Comics. They had it graded in their case for $3,000.
Good lord.
I was
What? Listen, there's not. I mean, there are bigger Star Wars nerds than me, but I'm pretty high out there, and I am not paying $3,000 for this. And Clone Wars is my
No.
favorite part of Star Wars.
like, I swear there's copies of Star Wars issue 1 that have the signatures from the cast, like Harrison, Mark Hamill. But yeah, simple enough. That's his only Legends appearance. And then he reappears a decade later in Thrawn. So that's the covers to 3 and 4. And then the next panel is 5 and 6.
I'll tell you right now, I still say one of the most underrated Star Wars stories is this Thrawn. This Thrawn is an amazing story. I love this Thrawn series.
A great introduction.
They'll have a standalone movie one day. They're gonna sit on it.
They're gonna hit it hard. And then issue 5 you had right there, Kachun. And number 6.
So no cover appearances.
No, he has no cover appearance. So issue 3 this is his first canon appearance. You see him in the party scene with Thrawn when he meets Price at the time, not governor yet.
What was she before that?
Office clerk. She was a desk office clerk, basically, and then really made her way up there quickly with a lot of dark.
Really?
Such.
A lot of what?
Great.
How did she get herself so high up? I'm just going to point out what the artist's intentions are down here at the bottom of the paper. If you would look at number 3, how did she get herself ranked up so high into the Empire? I'm just saying, because that is absurdly ridiculous right there. That is like Barbie doll ridiculous.
You know, it just hit me that he's the colonel, right? And he's dressed in white. Do you think he eats chicken?
You think what?
Do you think he eats chicken?
Oh,
The colonel of the Empire.
Holy shit.
Dad jokes. Awesome.
No.
Star Wars number 1 isn't a fancy spec book. Nice.
No?
That's
One of them is. One of the versions is.
I was mentioning about the original was signed. But then Age of Republic, Anakin Skywalker. It's probably his most involved appearance outside of the Thrawn ones. This is back at his Admiral days. And that's pretty much all of his appearances. It's pretty straightforward, no cover appearances. But then you get hit with this Clone Wars and Rebels list of all he shows up in.
Look at that.
That's a lot.
Cat and mouse.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's in every season, yeah?
Every season. And not to mention, like, he does do the voiceover for every episode. But he shows up. I think so far, if I'm not mistaken, outside of, like, you discount Anakin and Obi-Wan, he has the most appearances of any character on the Clone Wars. Outside of the clones and outside of Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka. He's the one who has the most appearances.
You could probably win a nice quiz, a Star Wars nerd quiz, that one right there.
And that's that leads into the next fun stuff.
Outrageous. All right.
Oh yeah, the cat and mouse one. That's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Because they come across that guy who supposedly was dead. The Trench, was that him?
Yeah, the spider. Yeah, Admiral Trench was his name too.
Yeah,
it had the Admiral battles.
All right, so that is that man, Wullf Yularen.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought we'd throw an easy one in there. I do kind of like the idea of filling out some of the background guys with all the medals on their chest, because it is interesting to see what they have done with them in the future when they're like, oh yeah, hey, where's that one random guy that was in the background? Like, let's just figure out something to do with him. This is basically what they do. One
character that'll definitely be fun for the Empire to talk about eventually is General Veers. the AT-AT, because he has a pretty, if I remember correctly, his Legends background post Battle of Hoth is ridiculous. Like what happens to him, it's almost on the same level as Bib Fortuna when he like gets his brain taken out. We talked about before,
Right.
Interesting.
Vias, yeah, because we talked about him when we talked about what's his name.
I
All
don't know.
right.
Yeah, we were talking about him. Yeah, but
let's do this then. Let's see. Share again.
Love that.
Upcoming. Well, I can't even say upcoming. That's crazy. Upcoming comics.
not much this week, but we have High Republic issue 11. So you have the A cover on the left, No, and you got the B cover with Momonoko.
I don't hate that. That's interesting.
I don't like the fact that we're mixing Lord of the Rings with Star Wars, but other than that, yeah, they're fine.
Did you say that's a Noto cover, the A cover?
Yes.
Get there, see it.
It looks weird because there's no background, so you can't compare it to normally how he does it.
Is
I
that
just look
all
at that.
there is?
If you're a collector, that's going to be a problem right there.
Yeah, I think all wrinkled and beat.
You better get that plasticed pretty fast.
And then there's a 1 in 25 cover for that.
Oh,
you can go ahead and keep that 1 in 25.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I'd rather buy the Momoko cover.
Holy, that is
for $25.
Somebody got a break. That's somebody's friend right there that they let them do that cover.
Who is that?
This is a fun one. So, Star Wars Insider is a magazine that comes out every so often, but there is a volume coming out, volume 2, and it's called the Fiction Collection. So it covers a bunch of different stories that were collected in the Insider magazine, in Legends. So as it sees on the side there, it has a bunch of stuff with characters like Darth Plagueis, Hondo, Rex, Revan.
No! What did I do?
Remember, you can go back. You can't. What?
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm sorry. I just saw Lando. I saw Lando Calrissian, and I went a little nuts. I apologize.
I got excited. So yeah, you got some of the original characters, and you got some of the newer ones there. It's a fiction collection. This is a nice anthology of the magazine. So
can you have this like sent to your house? Can you like order this?
I mean, you can order it. Just like I think even on like bookstores like Barnes and Noble and Indigo up here, you can order it.
I wouldn't mind having the Star Wars Insider.
Yeah,
because that's volume 2. Because like it's cool having them because they're nice, kind of like coffee table almost. Like
Exactly.
I believe as well. There are short stories, so it's all text, but there is like a nice big art spread on the first page of the story. Like I remember when they had the Cad Bane one, it was a really cool one where he's kind of gunslinging, jumping out of the way.
It's kind of a mix between your TV guide stuff and your.
Mm-hmm.
They even have variant covers.
Yeah, because they had the really cool time when they had the Boba Fett one.
The good thing is they also have like unique stories as well.
Mm-hmm. And then after that we have Boba Fett Blood Ties. It's the trade paperback that covers the miniseries.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Surprised that you like that.
What about it do you like?
It's my man.
Now, speaking of your man, you got news.
Plenty of news. Man, I was so excited.
Obviously, the biggest part of this news is a poster came out. Is the trailer finally dropped for Book of Boba Fett. Yes. So now we actually see what's going on, have a better idea of the story. In terms of now we know Boba Fett trying to take over the crime business that Jabba left and that Bib was holding on to. What do you guys think of the trailer?
Well, first thing we called it with the monks. They're actually gonna remember back when we
with the spider monks.
We said they're probably gonna cover those in Book of Boba Fett, or at least they should. And I think we're gonna get a little bit about those.
I hope we see some brains getting put in jars. Bib's corpse is getting dragged away by the spiders. We see
More so than you saw the Family Guy version, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really loved it. It's exciting. Fennec is in it, of course. Love her. Yeah, looks like there's a lot of interesting new characters in there.
There's a lot to go on, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Canadian, before I completely shit on this, what did you think about it?
I thought it was just, I mean, I was expecting a different way opposed to him doing just kind of create the crime syndicate. I mean, I am still interested, obviously. I'm optimistic about this, but at the same time, I really wonder. I can't remember how many episodes this is supposed to be. If it's supposed to be 10 or 6 or whatever it is, but I hope it's more what's that word?
What word?
What word am I thinking of here?
What word?
I don't know. I will say
I don't know the word I'm looking for. Engagement. That's not it. Anyways, my thoughts are there.
I'm a little concerned about it. I think it seems. I only watched the trailer once, so usually I watch it more than once, but I only watched it once, so I probably need to watch it again. It seemed a little bit all over the place. It seemed like there's going to be a lot in there for not being like one season, not being too many episodes. I maybe just because of my bias, but I also seem like they were talking about how Jabba, controlled with fear and blah 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 blah. And when it comes down to like, well, how are you planning on holding this? It wasn't Fett that said something. It was his badass, don't need no man, female friend who was like, try me and we'll see. And I'm just a little concerned that they're going to try to make him a anti-hero kind of thing where he's like likable, but he's not really supposed to be likable. He's supposed to be an assassin / bounty hunter / criminal. And I'm a little concerned they're going to try to make her more the badass and he's more of the trying to maybe not necessarily do what's right. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I kind of got from it. Don't get me wrong, I'm completely excited and we'll watch every episode of it. But that was just my concern when the first viewing. I was just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like I want to see
he's ruthless, right?
Yeah, like I want to see what's going on. I don't need her to be ruthless. She's a badass, but I don't need to see. And it may be just because Disney has been doing this, it concerns me a bit. Like if you want to make her a badass, then give her own show. But most people come here to watch him, and I don't mind her being a badass, but I want him also to be a badass.
Because he's more like Vader.
Yeah, that's how he needs to be. His name should be putting as much fear into you, and then like to me, the way I vision him, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't write Star Wars. If there's a group of outlaws and he wants to send a message, and they say, well, what's to keep us from killing you? I think immediately they should be set on fire by him, not by her. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It shouldn't even be a question. Within an instant, they should have their head, top of their head should be missing.
Because he's ruling with respect. I mean, everyone respects him up until now.
Yeah.
Except Rain, I guess. But
my only concern, and it's a Disney concern more so than him. But I'm obviously extremely optimistic and hopeful. So that being said, I really do like this poster, but I have no more wall space, so I have to continue not staring at it. So.
But yeah, I mean, I had the thought that with the title Book of Boba Fett, that there'd be some kind of flashbacks or some.
And I thought it was going to be more like his book is a little black book almost, but
like a diary.
Like his dear diary when he was in the Sarlacc, dear diary. Today I lost a little leg hair.
Today I mounted my father's head.
The next bit of news. This is fun. This was the last minute news that just came out, which was fun. So they had done it a while ago. They released a bunch of different line of these new reprints of Legends books, with these nice new covers and a trade paperback.
Look at that.
And they have 4 new ones announced for 2022.
Look at the first one.
So the first one is the Kenobi book by John.
Who's that?
It is John Jackson's Will. I can't remember his name. Will. That was one of the pivotal ones for when for post Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan. Like that was the main story that took place. So I wonder how much they're releasing this, how much of it is going to be impacting the show.
His first trailer drops next Friday, supposedly.
Oh, rumors.
Yep.
Well, if that's the case, then we'll be talking about it next. But then, yeah, so you had that. Then you had one of the best Star Wars books, Darth Plagueis, with interesting art there on the cover. And next to it, you had 2 other ones. You had Wedge's Gamble, another book in the Wedge and X-Wing series.
Wedge.
And you had Dynasty Evil, the next book in the Darth Bane trilogy that they had I believe, already did the first book. I can't remember if this is the second or third one in the trilogy.
Freaking Chris.
But yeah, I like this idea of them reprinting it like this, as opposed to just sticking the word legend on like the original covers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. It's an opportunity for people to buy it. I have so many novels as it is, and I have a hard time buying Legends books at brand new prices when you can buy them like for like $1 at a half price books.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not even canon, so I don't know, it's kind of weird for me. But if you really like, because those are obviously cool covers. I know Wedge's Gamble is a pretty popular book, so I mean, if you really like them, you could purchase them. I just don't know if I necessarily would, just because they are legend and you can get the originals for so much cheaper probably than what this is. Let's see. Let's just go to the sensei of words here. Who is Boba Fett? Looks cool. I'll have to look into this guy. Wish someone would do a show about him. Interesting. Plot twist: Boba has herpes, and the entire show has been him using the syndicate to locate and acquire medication for it. And Wedgie Gamble is what I call it every time I pick a wedgie. Will there be brown stain? Only time will tell. Roll the dice. So just wanted to throw out there, the fourth unnamed member in all of his glory. He's a wordsmith. He knows how to do it. Oh, you know what? How when you would have seen these first on my freaking Discord, Casper, that you're supposed to be on. I've had these on here for quite a while. You jerk.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I know. How do you think I found them? So, yeah, these are the Star Wars Visions figures.
Just the 3?
Only 3 for now.
They're very expensive because that's the only thing keeping me from buying them.
Is that the Leia? Is that Leia or is that?
No,
that's
so this
from
is
the. That's
so
from the show.
Figures, the Ronin one, which is obviously the best of them, and then you had the twins from the twins episode. Your favorite episode.
This is your episode, homeboy.
This is your episode.
It's such your favorite episode that you don't even know your own characters.
But so those are coming out sometime next year, and the Ronin one's the most expensive. I think it's 30 something US, and then the twins are 20 each. So.
Oh, I heard that the price is gonna be way higher than that. If that's all, the price,
that's what the price was. Yeah.
Okay, well then I'm purchasing all of them.
Like the Ronin one's really cool. Like I think because I love.
Well, they're Star Wars. They're Star Wars and their toys. I mean, I don't know. Like the ones that had lightsabers in the hand are definitely getting purchased. I mean, if I'm gonna get 2, I might as well get the third. I'm probably gonna get all 3. Let's just.
I want Forlon with a Gatling gun.
Yeah, that'll work too.
I mean, because Bandai is doing these ones. Hasbro isn't doing it. So I would assume, depending how good these sell, they'll probably do another line.
That's right. That's why I assume they're expensive, because Bandai is usually pretty expensive, or it can be. So I guess that's why
they have a huge range in how much they charge. Yeah. These are only like 6-inch figures. They're not they're the same size as the Black Series, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that's good.
They're not huge. They're not really tall ones.
Speaking of figures, I'll have a video dropping tomorrow about the What If Doctor Strange figure and a little man named Dr. Fate together. One video.
No.
Good doctors.
showing those toys that I unboxed. Here they go.
Okay, so there you go. So yeah, the March 2022. So
What is this?
the Walking Dead dollars.
What? That's
So,
what I thought.
I don't know what that is. TWD Taiwan.
I don't know,
Taiwanese.
but your dollar's not doing well, my friend, because our dollar's not doing well, and if yours is still on 960. Wow.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, 34.55 for the Ronin and 20 for the figures. Okay, so I can see. Yeah,
That's like
obviously you want to have a
50%
little more
more.
production cost into it.
That's an automatic buy. This one for sure.
Yeah, I was right. Taiwan, new Taiwan dollar. Holy
Wow.
crap!
That's a lot of money, bro.
That's a really bad conversion.
Yeah.
$1 is equivalent to 3 cents, essentially.
So I would say this: if you're somebody watching this and you want them to produce more stuff like this, then you have to buy when they come out, and that's usually what they do. They usually will have one character that's pretty popular, and then they'll release another one or two that they're testing the waters because they assume they can sell this, because you can sell this to anime fans or anything, and so that's usually how they do these things. They usually release one that's clearly popular and two that kind of be, and just test it.
What you're
And if you
saying
guys-
is the next one they're gonna do is gonna be the Gatling Forlom. It's gonna be Astro Boy, and it's gonna be the Rocker
robot.
Hut, right? The Rocker
The
Hut.
what?
If
I
they
kinda-
announce the Rocker Hut, I will happily gift that to you for Christmas.
No, we're gonna buy the whole collection of the entire band, and we're gonna send it to Chris's house. We will go in it on
The entire
thirds,
band.
and we'll send the entire rock and roll band to Chris's house.
So,
Oh
Now-
my God, it's my favorite comedian. I'm gonna buy this just because of that.
so
That's a good scan of him, to be honest. Sorry
It's
to interrupt
actually
you.
really
That's a good scan.
it's pretty funny. So basically, after that, we had Hasbro PulseCon 2021. They announced a ton of figures, but
Look at this. This is for you right here. I know you like this. Where's your wife at?
Boba?
so yeah, they
Yeah.
had the Hasbro. So they showed off a Mandalorian phase. So they obviously had at the top, what's his name, Cobb Vanth, and then they had Boba Fett in his rug, and then you have Bill Burr,
Bill Burr.
and then you have you had one where it's Mandalorian, Grogu, and one of the spider creatures in the cave.
I
Is
need
that
to
that
get
one
this.
in the
I actually
bottom?
don't have a. I don't one of him of the Mandalorian.
How much? How soon do you think after that release, the figures release, that there's gonna be a Bill Burr signed copy on eBay?
Within minutes, probably.
Oh.
'Cause Bill Burr does not have any qualms about making money. I can tell you that.
So yeah, I mean, more figures. I am
That
surprised.
is hilarious. That is like that's so weird because he is so not an athletic looking person, and to be, I don't know, it just looks weird to me.
It's
'cause
what's
most
funny seeing like that, like well known.
Yeah, that's really weird.
And then
Oh, we got close up. So okay,
closer up there. So
that's
probably-
pretty cool. Even though it's a little bit like,
He's got a
I don't know,
jetpack.
like somebody put a bunch of starburst around his neck and stuff. It's a little bit colorful, but I mean, it's cool because I mean, obviously the movie and everything.
And then
What
they had
the
these
hell?
interesting sets come out, which they're called. I can't remember they're called like character packs, but
Wow.
so the top one is just the creatures, so a lot of different creatures through Star Wars.
Okay, this is the only one that I
There's
care
penguins.
About. Oh, that guy's pretty cool too. The suck face one.
And then you had so you had, because in the top one there you have the creature from Fallen Order, the little rodent.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, then you have the Pogs, and you have the Salacious Crumb family.
That's it.
And then and then after that, the other one's just a First Order mixed with it's First Order. Yeah, it's all First Order.
Okay. Seriously, the only thing I care about this is the droid. Like I don't even care about the rest of them. So I
Even
don't
the
need
mouse
them.
droid.
Yeah, the mouse droid too. Like I don't need the rest of them.
And is that Ron Weasley? Who's that?
No, it's the other one.
It's
But
a brother.
close.
Now this one's
Oh, this is a good one. Now I can dig
So
this. I
this
can
is
dig
the
Alright.
droid
this
collection.
one.
So you got B1, you got Pet Droid, you got an interesting it's a red one that rolls, and then
Yeah, that's kind of
Weird
weird.
Droid. And then you got Babu Frick down there.
Yeah, that guy's pretty
Got
funny.
him
So yeah, I'm digging this one.
I like the cases though. I think it's pretty cool. Like these like little larger packs.
Are these 6-inch or 3 point whatever Majig 3.25?
There's I believe the battle droid and the security droid are 6 inches. And
Okay,
also,
so it
if
looks
I'm not
like
mistaken, see how it shows the. So that's the front on the right, obviously, and the back's there. I believe it has one of those fold over covers, like it flaps down.
So this is gonna be like $100 or $50-$60 probably then.
I didn't see the listing price.
If it's
but
Black Series,
I have to feel $50. If it makes sense.
yeah, because
right?
they're like 20. They're like $19 a piece, and you're getting at
Wow.
least 3. So wow, okay.
And then they have some other random
You
ones.
shut the door. What is this? I can't buy any more shit, you people.
So-
Oh my god.
Some other stuff that fits in here. So they have, which in top left is Leia's lightsaber from that. I think
From
it's
what?
From what? From that. That's all it is. So
Let's get out of here with that.
then the top right you have. So they had that line, the vintage collections,
Yeah, I like this. This
where they
is
make it
good.
look like the older Kenner toys. So that one is the cantina from Mandalorian. And then the bottom left is a Rebel collection. So it's very much the same as the those other ones, except it's the vintage style.
Yeah, see, I don't get a lot of the 6-inch. They just take up too much space.
So these
And
ones are
then-
these are like I think the 4-inch ones or whatever.
Okay, I don't mind those because at least the boys can use them and stuff. But yeah, yeah.
And then so you saw the Black Series. They did a 6-inch Mandalorian with the Grogu. They also have a vintage version too.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And then they also showed some other vintage ones. These
Very
are
nice.
Jedi. So there's a weird looking Ahsoka.
It is very strange.
And he had Anakin swinging at his ball.
Just as he's swinging his balls, just as odd. This is a little. She's got a little fat face right there. It's a little strange.
And then
That's
you
also this after he fell out of the damn window. Like what's up with his face?
yeah, you got Mace Windu and you got Jesus Christ. So
You said it correctly. You
Now,
are 100%
the
correct.
one thing with the vintage is so weird is the robes are humongous.
They're very big.
Like you probably fit both of those figures in one of the robes.
Don't talk like that. Don't talk like that. We don't put figures together in one row. Come on. This is the Jedi Order. We don't have attachments.
I mean budgets. They have budgets. That's
Oh, good lord.
yeah.
Cool.
And that's about it for news.
Padawan.
'Cause obviously,
Let's just, if you don't mind, let's just go back to the thesaurus here. TWD is the future of the US dollar, hyperinflation, baby. Let's go, Brandon. I just got demonetized. Good thing I'm not monetized. I don't buy any toys that challenge my masculinity, so 6-inch toys are a no-go for me. The Kenobi toy looks like an 8-year-old put on his dad's suit. That's what he was just saying. Those robes are. I don't know why you had to say the Kenobi one, but why didn't you say the Samuel L. Jackson one? Let's just say that then. If you don't know the guy's name, there's no reason to call out Kenobi like that. Unnecessary. All right, well, I think that does it. You guys have anything else to add? How the hell we got 53 minutes out of this character? I'll never understand how we do it.
all that Boba Fett talk.
That
it
is
was
true.
Wow.
The actual episode was 20 minutes.
He's got a little head.
Huh?
All
He's
right.
got a
Well, I
little
think.
head like the guy on Beetlejuice.
All right, so I think that'll do it.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to try to find even more random person in the background. I think there's a maintenance mechanic that I think Chris wanted us to talk about. That's in the 1 second of one scene, and we're going to talk about him. His name is Chris Johnson, and
I think they might have a guy who was famous for having a tattoo on his face in the background. That's about it. They liked him because he had a cool tattoo, and that's it.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys later. We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And catch you guys later.